Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here on the Juicy Living Tour. I know I'm not in Europe right now. The weather is definitely not the European weather. I had to come back to Hawaii and especially the island of Kauai. So this is a two weeks actually window break, but not break because there's just so many people to do interviews. And actually, when life is flowing, why would we stop that magical flow? Why would I even not do some interviews and get Nick Good here at Noni Land on tape and get this to you guys wherever you are, because this is juicy conversation. We're really in a special spot on the island with the author of Amazing Grace that you co-wrote with David Wolf, and you had been his personal trainer and then co-founded this magnificent place, created My Superhero Training and all kind of beautiful things around the world. You travel a lot, and that's what I really want to speak with you. I want to talk about, how do you see these moments right now and the shift on the planet? Is it really happening? Is it accessible to everybody? Do you have some warnings of what's currently happening? Because we're all traveling, and you get your little antennas out and you have some knowledge and you meet all those amazing people around the world. So does your heart feel that there is something?
Oh yeah, there's a huge shift occurring. Yes, it is happening, and yes, there are warnings, and I guess the warnings are to people that are resisting the call for change. The signs, the evidence is very, very clear that we are those of us that are living in the matrix, in the society, that are trapped in debt, that are still supporting the system. They are in danger of being sucked and trapped into something very, very sticky, like sticky fly paper, that is very, very, very challenging to extricate yourself from. And anyone that has been consciously walking this path, the spiritual path, which basically it is the hero's journey, and it has a certain structure to it, because everything that's happening in the world, even though we hear some terrifying stories and reports of especially from the conspiracy realm, about the agenda of the hidden controlling agencies behind governments and whatnot. Even though all of that, most of that is true, there is a way of living, a way of being, where you become immune to it all. And this is very, very, very important to understand, is that vibrationally you can become immune to it all. And at the end of the day, they are not so much after your money, they are after your soul, they're after your creative energy, they're after your spirit, they're after consciousness itself. Because when you go down the rabbit hole as deep as you can do, you move through these manipulative agencies in the world that are after money and oil and land and these things. And then you get to a deeper esoteric reason, and this is it's basically a battle, a war for your consciousness, to possess your spirit, because that's what creates. You see, life forms according to the vibrations of consciousness. That means reality appears the way you feel. Reality appears the way you imagine. Imagination and feelings. Imagination and feelings. Another way of saying that is your awareness and your attitude. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. You see? Feelings are magnetism. Thoughts make the substance of life form into formation. Into stuff, into your physical body, into the reality that you call your life, you see? So being the master of your imagination, being the master of your feelings, via purifying your emotions, is the spiritual journey. It is the hero's journey. And it can be very, very scary and overwhelming, because what happens one day when you wake up, or you've lost your job, like I know you did, you know, and many of us that have gone this journey, we go through this little period, what is traditionally and mystically been called the dark night of the soul, where we're tested, we're really tested out to see if, you know, we are, we can practice what we preach, you know, if we're the real deal, if these philosophies, these grandiose philosophies, these new ideas, if they actually are, they actually work. And if you can keep your faith as you're walking through these fiery trials, it's an integral part of the spiritual journey. And so consciousness is being manipulated, but on a grander scale, it's being initiated. On a surface level, it's being manipulated, but on a grander scale, it's being initiated. And we only have two choices. We can either go through this initiation consciously, or we can go through it unconsciously, which means we're going to be dragged, kicking and screaming, to our fate, instead of consciously riding the highest lines of the waves of our destiny, like a surfer. I like to surf. We surf a lot over here, and when the wave breaks, there's lots of ways of surfing that wave. Some people can't surf it at all. They just get swamped by the wave. But it's the same wave, depending on the ability of the surfer. Spiritually speaking, in your case, it's a soul surfer. You have the opportunity, if you have the skill, to ride the waves of your destiny. And to choose the line that you want to ride on that wave. So you can ride the high line, which is basically the highest, grandest version of yourself. So I want to ask you a question. What is your vision for yourself? If you could be any version of yourself, the person that you dream to be, who would it be? Who would it be? And then the challenge is to go and live that, to really live it, to put your life, put 100% commitment, thoughts, words and actions, feeling states, using your imagination, using your feelings, using your action, to live it, to be it. And I've done this, I've been doing this consciously for the last 29 years.
Because you had a rough, I mean, you it's not like it's all landed just easily and effortlessly to you, because it was pretty rough, to get to this place.
Oh yeah. I had a really tough time, but that's all part of the initiation. This is the thing about not judging anyone. If you know, be careful who you're judging, because you don't know where they've come from, what mountain they've climbed just to get where they are right now, in this lifetime, in previous lifetimes. So difficulty, trials, tribulation, struggle is an inherent part of the journey. And so we can all reflect on parts of our lives that we have struggled. A lot of people are struggling today. It's through the struggle, just like the butterfly, as it emerges from the cocoon, it has to struggle to get its wings out of that sticky cocoon. If you help it out, it can't fly. Did you know that? You knew that?
No.
A lot of people don't know that if you actually help a butterfly out of its cocoon, it will not be able to fly because it hasn't developed the strength in its wings. The butterfly is a perfect analogy for this metamorphosis that we are going through. We're all going through it. The only choice is, are we doing it consciously or unconsciously? If we're doing it consciously, then we're practicing on ourselves, and we see our struggle, our difficulties as gifts. We're able to accept the gifts. At the time, it might be challenging to do that. For instance, I was born in a farmhouse in the middle of Lincolnshire, England, one of the flattest counties in England, very windy, very cold place. I was born in 1961, and it was a haunted house. It had a little ghost in there. There was a boy monk, a little boy, and he was a monk, and he used to ghost through the walls, sit in front of this particular fireplace in one of the bedrooms in the house. But what he did, it opened up a vortex, the presence of the ghost, who wasn't malevolent, he was just sad. It opened up this portal for other entities to come through from the lower astral plane. that was for me at the time an extremely terrifying place to grow up in. I had this little bedroom, and the creatures that used to come through there, the entities that came through there, the things they used to do to me as a child were absolutely terrifying. Very, very, very real to me. Now, at the time, I couldn't accept the gift of that. But what it gave me as I matured, it gave me an opportunity to appreciate that there is much more to life than meets the eye. And that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you're not aware of it doesn't mean that it's not going on. And it also gave me an opportunity to meet these agencies of darkness, these entities in this lower astral plane, in a moving from fear, as I was as a little boy, into literal physical confrontation as I was as a younger man in my 20s, and then transcending the confrontation into heart-centered acceptance, and just being in such a powerful state of love and blessings and joy that my vibration, I was removed from that vibrational place where they have access to us, you see? So you get that? It goes from fear to confrontation to transcending the whole thing. So there's a tremendous gift. So now, here we are all in this world. We are the children of life in this world. And there are scary things happening on invisible planes. And these invisible agencies are driving political agendas and inspiring this control system, which is literally sucking consciousness and creating a low vibrational matrix which feeds somehow these parasitic entities in these other dimensions. So that is scary to a lot of people, so much so that they don't want to look at it. But what we need to do, and some people are looking at it, and they're moving from the fear into attack, into being at war with, into fighting these things. But the secret is, and the gift it is that we need to transcend it so that we can accommodate evil, the presence of evil in the world, and we understand we can accommodate it as a catalyst for our own spiritual growth, for our own maturation. Because there are dreadful, dreadful things at work in this world, not just on a governmental level, and woven into every fabric of our social structures, but on invisible planes as well. Very well documented, clearly defined, multiple ways.
But what you're saying is that if we focus on the fear of that, and if we fear it, and then we get sucked into it, and then we're not really. There's another way. Yeah, there's a gracious way.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the challenge of it all. This is the gift in it, because most individuals are not changing their lives, making big changes to their lives in a fundamental way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because they're very happy doing just what they're doing. Most people are making the changes because they're not happy doing what they're doing, and most of those are making the changes because they have to. They don't have any choice. They actually have to. You see, so we're not voluntarily, most of us, looking for these, to make these huge shifts in consciousness, to expand our awareness, to do this, that, and the other. We're doing it because something is propelling us. Something is motivating us, and this is the catalyst of evil. And so rather than pointing the finger at it and going into the detail about all the dreadful things that are happening in the world, it's, hey, get the message, understand that it's a catalyst to trying to get you to go in a certain direction, and go there willingly, go there quickly, go there swiftly, and go there gracefully. And that basically means recalibrating your mindset and purifying your heart, so you're able to shed emotional baggage, to release emotional baggage, which is the ego's baggage, The ego is absolutely, totally body conscious. It says, this is me. Soul consciousness is when we accept that we are actually a spiritual being, and there's a lot more to me than meets the eye. And the ego has shutting down the sense of self into the ego body consciousness, creates baggage and drag, and stops you from evolving, ascending naturally. The game of life is to jettison all that baggage, to let it go, to dissolve it, to purify it, to transmute it, to use the gifts of it, and to rise naturally. And there is so much grace in life here to help us with that, right here, right now. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. You can be stuck in the most dreadful situation, in the most dreadful place. Grace will find the way to move in your life and create mini miracles on a daily basis through synchronicity, meeting people, finding inspiring books, circumstances, situations, resources appearing. Once you get the hang of this, you begin to realize just how magical life is. But if you are stuck in a vibrational state, especially with the way you're thinking and feeling, then you stay stuck in a low vibrational matrix. So we need to get control of our minds, get control of our imagination, so that we're thinking and imagining in much grander ways that are much more appropriate and in harmony with who we truly are and what we truly are and what life really is. And we can purify our emotions and release our emotional baggage and get into pure feelings of goodness and goodwill based on inner peace, based on that tranquility and that bliss of knowing who you are and really how you relate to life and what life really is. Life is extremely benevolent, and it has a quality that is almighty and all-powerful. It's got you wherever you are, and no matter what, if you keep the faith and you love life with all your heart, mind and soul, and you believe in yourself and just have a go, just innocently in your own unique way, just have a go at improving. And yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, you're going to have to jump over something that looks like you can't make the jump. Yes, you're going to have to, fall into the abyss and trust that grace is going to catch you. These are all initiations for the soul. And they've all been illustrated in many of the fairy tales and the hero's journeys. A lot of the modern day movies, Lord of the Rings is a really good one. The Matrix is a really good one. Avatar is a very good one. And they all give clues on how we need to move through this. Is
there a communication, or is there something that, do you speak to Grace? Do you invite it? What is the relationship?
Yeah, there is definitely a communication. You see, life is listening all the time. But what it's listening to is your heart, the emanations of your heart, your feeling states. And it's listening to the orientation of your imagination. Okay? So if you think about life in a deeper way, think about it now. Normally, people that are stuck in the matrix are preoccupied with the thoughts of people and things. You see? Thinking about people, their family, their friends. Someone did this, someone did that, someone didn't do this, someone didn't do that. For, actors, musicians, whatever. And things. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I will need to buy this, I need to buy that, I need to wash my car, I need to, I've got to pay the electricity bill. Whatever it is, it's all things, yeah? If you can shift the orientation of your mind into thinking about the invisible magic of life, what if life is actually wonderful and magical? What if we've been ignoring that wonder and that magic of the invisible realms, and we've been focusing all of our energy in a stressed out way into the surface of life, just the way things appear to be? What if there's...
I wonder.
Deeper? Yeah. As soon as you start orienting...
The wondering.
Yeah. Life is a wonder. So if we can... Khalil Gibran says it beautifully. A lot of people are suffering at the moment. Khalil Gibran says, if you could but keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would seem no less wondrous than your joy.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful quote from the prophet in talking about pain. So there is wonder in life. It's very, very real. The presence of life laps against the shores of the soul like an ocean against an island. The soul is a tiny little island in an ocean of eternity. That great ocean of life is there for communion with. And this is what spiritual practice is all about. Effective spiritual practice, which basically means just bringing yourself into heightened states of sensitivity. And you can do that simply by breathing slowly, gently, softly, reducing the vibratory frequency of the way your brain is working out of the normal waking state into deeper relaxation, and just opening your heart to the possibility that life is almighty and good and benevolent and can quite magically lift your whole reality up and completely shift it in an instant.
Does this go through a particular also detox of mind, of the emotions, even of the body, of the way we eat?
Yeah.
Have recommendations?
Yeah, well, it all goes hand in hand. You know, it all. What I'm into is empowering individuals. I have a website and books. I like to work with people one-on-one, because then you can really get to it, with someone, because everyone has you're very unique. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, physically, obviously we want to be looking at our diet. The main reason why we're obsessed with food in this culture is because there is a spiritual, psychological and emotional anorexia going on. We are literally starving of spiritual nourishment, of psychological nourishment that just comes through peace and states of bliss, and the emotional nourishment that just comes from tranquility and feeling at one, connected to life. We are disconnected from life in the normal waking state, in the matrix, when our brains are vibrating in the beta wave states, which means they're working quite quickly with the thought activity. We naturally disassociated then from our connection to life, because life, true life, the matrix, is superimposed on the substance of life. And it is having its moments, it has been allowed to have its moments, but that's all changing. The matrix is being basically composted, and if we don't want to be composted with it, we need to connect with the depth of life that is there as well. You see how that works? So if we consider ourselves more as an energy vibration, as a vibrational being that is made of energy, then the particles of that energy, they can connect to life itself, the spirit of life, the natural life presence. And no matter what's going on in the physical material world, it doesn't affect us. It just washes away. You see how that's possible? It's very, very, very possible when we are living from a deeper sense of self, and we actually start to really feel it. Because, I am in love with life. I mean, it's just, I just love just to be just tuning in, just feeling how beautiful life is and how perfectly designed my heart is, my spiritual heart is, to connect with life, and how nourishing it is for me when I do that, And I actually need to eat very, very little very little, because I feel really nourished and sustained just through that relationship. And so do a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I know. So obviously it's a process to get to there. If we're on 3 meals a day, and those meals are, if you look at the substances that you're eating, if you're buying them from supermarkets and health food stores and they're packaged, then you can move away from that. You can upgrade that away into more organic, more natural ways of eating, and generally eat less and more simpler combinations of food. There's so much complexity and diversity in the information that we are challenged to integrate, like the information that's available on the internet. The diversity and the complexity of that is completely overwhelming for any single person to absorb it all. It's the same with food. If we look at the different ingredients, the micro-ingredients, the different ways we can combine all these things together, and then the quantity of that as well, very, very, very challenging for the liver to process all that. And your liver needs to be in vibrant health for you to really experience the highest levels of physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual well-being and vitality. If the liver is stagnant from overeating, poor food combining, too complicated mixes, eating at the wrong time, eating too late, then your liver will be clogged, because it's just like a filter. That will affect the quality of your blood. The blood is a very, 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 very critical ground that needs to be reclaimed by the indwelling spirit, by the indwelling soul, by the consciousness that you are. It's very, very interesting when we get into these, the darker research of the, the conspiracy realm. We understand that, there's the possibility that these physical bodies are being genetically altered at some time, and that genetic interference has affected the blood hugely, and that the influence of these manipulators has permeated the blood with basically its consciousness. That means that the predatorial element, or the parasitic element that's invisible in life, has impressed its mind into our being. And so the spiritual warrior has to go deep within themselves through deep relaxation, while you're awake, while you're wide awake, so you actually become more awake as your body becomes more and more relaxed. And then when you get to the inner core of your inner being, when you get to really become awakened deep within yourself, you're able to recalibrate your blood and every cell in your body, because genetics respond to the environment that they're in. Genetics respond to the thoughts and the feeling states that are going through the cells. Dr. Bruce Lipton was a great champion of bringing this work to light in the world. He was taking the claims of what the Believe Do We Know, that little movement there that had its time, just to, which basically alerted us to the power of consciousness, to the power of our thoughts. Dr. Bruce Lipton really definitively led us, proved that genetics, genes will change if the feelings and the thoughts are of a certain sufficient quality, you see. So the genetics, all they are is just combinations of different alkaline-based chemicals throughout every single cell. And there's trillions of these combinations. They're like combination locks. And so when we think and feel in a certain way, we change the combination locks all the way through our cellular structure. And of course, it takes a little time to change, to shift your whole cellular makeup. But that's why we need to be regularly, daily, twice daily, very effective, real deal spiritual practice. And then flooding ourselves with the imagination and with the feelings that are conducive to the next grandest version of you, for you, not what somebody else wants of you, not what the Matrix wants you to be. What's your calling in life? Who do you really aspire to be? Where is it? Where's your soul being called to? What are you being challenged to accomplish in this life? And answering that, having the courage to answering that, and understanding that although there is tremendous support, it's almost like being born again. It's almost like dying in this lifetime. I've died multiple times over, metaphorically, and a couple of times literally. And you can die and be reborn many times over in one single lifetime. And one of the old shaman sayings is, die before you die, and then you don't have to.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, this is amazing conversation, Nick, and we could just go on for hours and hours here. We could. This is amazing, and I feel I have to be back on the island and do more of those part 2, part 3, part 4.
Yeah. Well, maybe we
can go in deeper each time. Do you like that idea?
Yeah. Well, maybe we could do something remotely as well and get a little educational series going for your crew.
All of it. Yeah. We say yes to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for this beautiful time.
Yeah, believe in the grace. It's so real. And trust in life. It's so good and so powerful. And believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. It's time to live your dreams. It's really time to go for it. Time to break out the box and really, really, really go for it.
Thank you. Much love and aloha. Aloha.
Yeah.
With the breath of life.
Yeah.
From Noni Land in Kauai. Bye, my beautiful co-creators. Thank you for your support and love. Love you.